A new study has revealed details about a giant prehistoric otter that roamed the Earth nearly 6 million years ago. So why is this study important, and what can it tell us about our ecosystem today? Here to answer those questions and more is Denise Su, a research scientist at the Arizona State University's Institute of Human Origins. Such a big title. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So you were among a team of scientists that discovered this species about a decade ago, and I can't pronounce it, so you give me the name, please, and then describe it.
Cymogale milalutra. And so this is at the very base of the otter lineage. It is huge. It was about the size of a wolf. So imagine encountering an otter the size of a wolf.
Otters are supposed to be so cute. My producer, Shauna Fisher, loves otters, and she loves the little otters. So this might be a little devastating for her.
It might be a little scary. I mean, I personally would not want to encounter an otter the size of a wolf personally.
We have an image.
Yes, and this is a reconstruction of what we think that it looked like. And as you can see, like the environment that you lived in at the site that we were excavating is basically a very closed area. It's marshy. There's a lot of other animals there. That's like very forest based. We have an ape there. We also had a panda. I mean, it's a very diverse and lots of water birds. And it was probably eating the mollusks around. And our most recent study showed that it was swimming, because that's actually one of the big questions. This is actually not the biggest otter in the fossil record. There are way bigger ones, like 300 pounds.
Wow.
In Africa and Ethiopia in the Pliocene, so about like 3 million years ago. And so this is not the biggest one. One of the questions was always, was it actually swimming like modern otters? And so this actually was probably, it was swimming, but wasn't a very good swimmer. And it was also digging, and probably digging for the mollusks that it was eating as well.
Do you have any idea why it evolved into such a large size?
It's a great question.
Well, thank you.
And the answer for that is we're not really sure. I mean, first of all, there's not really there's probably, there's not too much competition there. This is probably the largest carnivore in the area. Obviously, the food that it was eating was able to sustain this large size, and that the large size didn't really get in the way of it being successful. And so you see a lot of these really, really large animals earlier in time. And then you look around now, there aren't so many very large mammals today, except for some that kind of like giraffes and hippos and rhinos in Africa mostly. But there was something in terms of the changing environment, I think, that kind of partly dictated what happens to body size over time.
So what does this discovery mean for future research?
Well, I think so this time period is really interesting, because 6 million is when we went from a very stable time period to one that fluctuated a lot more. It got cooler, it got drier, there's a lot more fluctuations. And so this time period really helps us to better understand what animals do, what whole ecosystems do when there's this large scale change around them. How do they adapt to it? Do they adapt to it? Right? Because if they don't, then, well, they'll go extinct. And we have seen that happen in a lot of these transition time periods. A lot of lineages don't make it through. And so for us, I think today it's a really important thing to think about, because we are definitely in a time period of a lot of change and fluctuation. And so what does this mean for the ecosystem that we live in, and really the way that we live today?
Why do you like this research so much?
It's so much fun. It is a window to the past, right? It's a window to what life was like, the possibilities that were. And also it tells us something about ourselves, where we come from, why are we the way that we are today? Everything builds on what's in the past. And so that's really why I think it's really interesting.
Well, thank you so much for taking us back in time. And I do want to clarify, I think the otter is still cute, even the big one. Like, if you look at the face is still cute.
I totally agree. I think it's really, really cute. I just probably don't want to meet one.
Not a hungry one.
No.
Denise Su, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.